What's up, guys? This is Sammy Geek back here in kind of a dark video because my other light just died. and I'm just going to record this for you guys because I promised I would do this. This is my 24-hour review on the Venu 3 in my unlit miniature studio here. But that's okay because then you guys can see the displays light up a little bit better here. What we have is the 45mm Venu 3 next to the Epix 51mm, this Epix Pro 51mm. And then, of course, we have the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. And so what I wanted to do is give you guys kind of my 24-hour review of the Venu 3 and kind of what I think who I think this watch is for, and kind of why I think it exists. Because if you consider in the past, I mean, number one, battery life in the past was always an issue with these watches. So Garmin watches were always known to last for a few days, and mainly because they had the transflective display back in the day. And then you had Samsung watches or Android watches or Apple watches that would be like smoked after a day, so you'd have to charge it up. So what happened is over the past year or two, Garmin has come out with AMOLED displays, okay? But they've come out with AMOLED displays which have sort of came up with Samsung, so they're now meeting Samsung, but they're lasting a lot longer. So their AMOLED displays are giving you a few days of battery life. So if you were to compare these as we stand today, with always on display, you're talking about a day and a half, 2 days with the Galaxy Watch 5 Pro. With the Epix, you're talking about 9-10 days, easily 8 or 9 days with always on display with the Epix Pro 51mm. With the Venu 3, today you're talking pretty much easily 4 to 5 days depending on how much GPS use, and that's with always on display. So we've bridged the gap sort of with our Garmin has bridged the gap to bring some of their good battery life with the latest, greatest display technology. But there's still two categories to talk about that is like vitally important here. One is like the smartwatch, and two is the health and fitness watch. Historically, let's talk about this for a second, because you had watches like Apple and Samsung that are great for working with your phone. They're sort of an extension of your phone that you can wear on your wrist. Then you have health and fitness watches that are for people that are, just beginning to work out or interested in tracking their daily health, along with sleep, and more like athletes and runners and people that are bodybuilders or whoever it is. And you want to have continuous, like 24/7 tracking of your health and fitness, and that was your goal. Historically, 80% of what Garmin did, or Polar or whoever, was like health and fitness, and 20% smart features. Over here, and I think this is still stands today, it's like 80% smart features and 20% health and fitness, because what you get with this watch is sort of a mediocre heart rate monitor. And don't take my word for it. Actually go on and look at some of the reviews of the heart rate monitor and the heart rate tracking and so forth, and you'll see it's just mediocre at best. The Samsung Health app is mediocre at best. It is not for athletes. It's for your very, very, very entry-level person that wants to just track a few basic things. Like, for example, even the heart rate monitor, you have to turn on to always on with the Samsung, and then it just kills the battery, whereas Garmin is tracking heart rate all day long, because that is a huge factor in a lot of their algorithm to give you training readiness and different scores and things like that for where you are, your fitness levels and so forth. So the Garmin app is the other thing to talk about from the health and fitness feature. So the app and the Garmin watch from the health and fitness is like on a different planet as far as Samsung. So when you go in, as an entry-level person, you might be overwhelmed when you get into the Garmin app, because you're going to be like, I don't need half this stuff. Well, that's okay, because as you continue to develop your career in fitness and you get better and better, bigger, faster, stronger, whatever you're trying to shoot for, you will start to use more and more of the health features. So maybe from day one, you're going to use like 3 of the features in the app, or you're really going to focus on just heart rate or whatever it might be, or your sleep score. And then as time goes on, you start looking at things like heart rate variability, and you start paying attention to that. And you're like, oh my God, you can see if you did certain things during a certain day that your HRV is up or down. And you just start to notice these trends. And it really, really, truly helps with your daily health and what you do and your choices and so forth. So Again, historically, there's been like health and fitness, and then there's been smartwatch. So, spoiler alert, what Venu 3 or what Garmin and the Venu 3 have done is they've essentially taken these smartwatches, your Garmin, that's health and fitness, and your smartwatch like Samsung, they blended them together, and here's what comes out. Is a streamlined, sleek watch that's going to offer you pretty relatively good smartwatch features along with fantastic health and fitness features. So there was the Venu 2 Plus that came out. So there was the Venu 1, Venu 2, Venu 2 Plus. When the Venu 2 Plus came out, they introduced the speaker, so you could take phone calls on your wrist, and that was great. But what they didn't do with the Venu 2 Plus was they did, in my humble opinion, they didn't put enough health and fitness features in. So you were a little bit limited on the health and fitness features. So then you would need to go get like a Forerunner or a Fenix or Epix or whatever you wanted to get a little bit more health information like HRV, things like that. So the Venu 3 comes out and they add like things like HRV. They add additional information, which actually we're just going to go through real quick here. So this is set up as stock. So you can see steps, intensity minutes, heart rate, body battery, which is awesome. Here's HRV status that I mentioned. You're going to get your sleep score. You're going to get a sleep coach, which kind of gives you an indication of how much you should sleep. That includes nap tracking, which is sweet because that's a new thing for Garmin. And then some other information that will be in the app. You'll get quite a bit more information that you can look at. Of course, all your steps and your stairs climbed and you name it. So it gives you all this data. So what they've done is essentially they've taken the Venu 2 Plus and they've pumped up the health and fitness features to make it more like, the Forerunner, the Epix, and so forth. It's not quite there, but for 99% of the population, it's going to give you everything you need for health and fitness. And even at that point, it's still light years away from, to me, I think Apple and Samsung and so forth. Any Android platform watch that you can get out there. It's just Garmin is going to destroy anybody when it comes to the health and fitness features. And if you want to challenge me on that, go for it in the comments, and we can talk about it. But I think someone like Polar and Garmin and so forth, I think that these guys run the show when it comes to health and fitness. But again, historically, they haven't had super smart features. So with the Venu 3, they brought everything from the Venu 2, like the voice function. You can have if you press and hold the center button, you can do like your Hey G's series. It would be Bixby, I guess, for Samsung. You have the ability to do like your smart assistant. I haven't tried it yet, but I believe you can respond to text messages using your voice. You can definitely type text messages, which is awesome because if you compare it to something like this is a flagship watch. This is the Epix Pro, and you cannot type a message. You're stuck with a certain amount of responses. They're kind of canned responses, and you can create a couple custom ones, and then that's all you can send. Well, here you can create a custom message using the keyboard or your voice or whatever it is and respond to people. The other really cool part for me, which I think many reviewers might gloss over this, but if somebody sends you a text message with a picture, so, hey, look I'm out, taking a hike and I found this beautiful view and I sent it to you. If your phone's not there, you can actually see it on the Samsung smartwatch. You can actually see a little picture that they sent. So you don't have to run to your phone. Historically with Garmin, what you would do is you get something that says image and you're like, well, what did they send me? So you're curious. And so you got to go get your phone and look at the picture. Now with the Venu 3, they've added that kind of next level text message. So you get the text message with the picture. You actually see the picture, the image displayed on the Venu 3, which is great. That gets us so much closer to like what Samsung is doing these days. Next, and you might think, okay, well, that's not super important to me, but what about like security, like Ring cameras? So if you have a Ring camera and you have a Samsung watch, you know this already, but if somebody comes up to your front door and your Ring camera goes off and you've got alerts set on your phone or your watch, you actually get a picture of who's at your front door so you can see if it's UPS or your friends or family or whoever. And you historically, again, you get a notification of your Ring with this watch, but you would never see an image. Now with the Venu 3, you can actually see that image of who's at your front door. So there's the actual use cases behind the increased technology that the Venu 3 has brought. And not only, again, did they bring this new technology for Garmin, or at least catching up to someone like a Samsung for the smart features, but then they bumped up the health and fitness features. It brought a lot more to the game for the Venu 3. Then they made the display a little bit larger than the Venu 2 Plus, and they've streamlined, made smaller bezels, made it look slick and nice. I think, to me, just in 24 hours of using the Venu 3, I am definitely going to say that this, if you are focused on health and fitness, this is the best watch that you can get if you want smart functionality. There's other watches that might be better for you, like the Forerunner line if you're a runner. That might be a little bit more important to you, some of the features and data sets that they can provide you. But for a general person that's into health and fitness, but also wants that smart functionality, the Venu 3 cannot be touched. I mean, you're talking always on display for 4 to 5 days. I think it's like 11 days with the always on display off as far as battery goes, in addition to the craziness that they give you for all of the health and fitness data, in addition to being able to answer phone calls and see your text messages, respond to text messages, see pictures and images, and have it all in like a very streamlined, smooth, modern interface. I mean, the Venu 3 completely knocks it out of the park. I'm so surprised ultimately that it was such a soft launch of the Venu 3 that they didn't market it more. I think it was a pretty quiet launch. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. I would be happy to answer them. I'll try to get up a review a little bit down the road. Again, I'm not going to go through everything in the watch. I'm not going to go through looking at the different heart rates between the watches, because there's a couple guys that posted videos already, big time YouTubers that have done that. I just want to talk to you guys from, your average consumer perspective, somebody into health and fitness and who has tried all these different watches. Kind of my initial review of the Venu 3. It is a winner. It is definitely 2 thumbs up. I mean, Garmin is killing it, and the Venu 3 entering into the lineup really seals the deal. So talk to you guys soon. Have a great day.